Is the Russian-Ukraine war merging with the Iranian-US war? May sound crazy, but after Ukraine hit an Iranian ship over the weekend, these two may actually be on their way to becoming one great big war. So it looks like Iran may be getting ready to hit Ukraine in the near future. At the very least, they're going to supply Russia with drones. I thought that was the case all along, but who knows? If they haven't been, it now looks like they probably will be at the very least. And Russia is egging it on. Russia says that Ukraine's attack on an Iranian ship is an attack on Iran. So I think it looks like, if nothing else, the possibility is there. Either way, we have spy agencies that are suggesting that Russia is in fact helping Iran target U.S. service members in the Middle East. And they are also saying that China is probably helping as well. The Houthis are still targeting Saudi Arabia. I saw right before I started filming this that there's a new report that the Houthis have attacked another Saudi ship. And beyond the Houthis attacking ships, they're lobbing missiles into Saudi Arabia. I think it was yesterday that they hit one of the Saudi Aramco facilities, and they're saying now that it's shut down. This isn't the only Saudi oil facility that's been hit. There was a Saudi Aramco facility that was burning the other day, and if I remember correctly, it's the largest oil terminal in the world. We do have a pause in the US attacking Iran, but the Iranians are still attacking others in the region. Iranian proxies are launching attacks from Iraq. They're hitting all their neighbors. It's the same list of states that they've been hitting this entire time. The Iranian government is saying that the attacks are coming from pro-Ukrainian cells, believe it or not. I kind of find that hard to believe. I think that the more likely culprit is Iran. I think that the Iraqi government is saying this because they don't want to make Iran mad. I think that they don't want to have to do anything about it, and so they're saying, oh, it's these other guys. Nothing we can do. That's Ukraine that's responsible for that. Now, I want to caution everybody, don't be fooled into thinking that the U.S. has stopped bombing Iran because peace is at hand. This is probably a pause before a major attack. That kind of thing is not unusual, and we still have a lot of troops, supplies, and aircraft moving into the area like they're building up for something big. There's a report that the US and the UK are supposed to have a big meeting to talk about Iran here in the next few days. And we can't forget that Iran has threatened the UK, so it would only make sense that the UK is going to end up involved in this one way or another. The reports about the reason for this meeting are more specifically to talk about how the UK can help with the Strait of Hormuz. If they get involved in that, they absolutely are in the war. Iran is already mad at the UK that the US is using their airfields for their bombers that are more than likely going to be used for this major attack that's coming up. And of course, we have the fact that Trump has met with Netanyahu and Zelensky today and said that Iran was the major topic of discussion. Now, there are reports this afternoon that Iran is saying that they spoke with officials in Ukraine and it was all a misunderstanding. They weren't really trying to attack Iran. It was just one big mix-up. But who knows? It wouldn't be the first time that one thing was said when something else is really going on behind the scenes. If you recall, the Ukrainian government kept telling their people, there's nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. Russia's not going to attack, right up to the moment when the tanks started rolling across the border. Now, we also have these same said spy agencies saying that the new supreme leader of Iran is a whole lot more interested in nuclear weapons than his father was. Whether that's true or not, just the fact that it's being said and whispered into the ears of President Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, that's just fuel for the fire right there. That's telling both of those leaders that this is not the time to let up, that if Iran's going to be stopped from possessing a nuclear weapon, it has to be done now. Unfortunately, that, along with all the other things that I touched on, really does suggest that we may be looking at build up to a global war. And if that's the case, that's World War III, especially if Russia openly joins forces with Iran. Like I said, don't let this kind of relatively calm period right now fool you. You may or may not be familiar with a period during World War II called the Phony War. It was a relative calm that lasted for about 8 months at the beginning of the war. There wasn't a whole lot of ground operations going on, but the war at sea was still getting hot and heavy. And that could be what we're kind of looking at right now. There's still conflict going on, but there's not the full-scale war that we saw for the last 14 days. Up until this relative calm started. But like this example from history, it doesn't mean that things are getting better. This absolutely could be the proverbial quiet before the storm. And that means that now is the time to prepare. Stock up on shelf-stable foods. Prepare for supply chain disruption, potentially worse than during the pandemic. I know that you all remember how hard it was to get some things, and we could be looking at that times 10, especially if China joins Russia and Iran. Everything comes from China, even a lot of our medications, and all China has to do is just simply stop shipping to the US. There doesn't have to be any kind of blockade or any naval action or anything like that to stop those supplies. It just simply takes a phone call from the Chinese government to the ports and say, no more. So if there's things that you think that you might need, if everything gets worse, it might be a good idea to see if you can take care of that now. I mean, I know that money is tight for a lot of people. Same here. But if you can afford it, you're probably getting it. If you can afford getting it now, you're probably better off, because it absolutely will not be cheaper later on. So let me know in the comments how the war is affecting your preps. Other than that, that's all I have for today. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any videos. Like and share so that other people can get this information too. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.